Hello, we are going to go over the pathway of circulation. So you should have a heart drawn on your piece of paper. What we should already know is that there are two sides to the heart and there are four chambers. So the first thing we're going to do is just draw a line all the way down to this pointy part. That pointy part is called the apex. And the part that divides the two sides is called the septum. So we're going to label those. And then there are four chambers. The top ones are the smaller ones and the bottom ones are the bigger ones. So I'm just going to tell you to make a line across like so. And this is the right side of the heart, and this is the left side of the heart. We're looking at the front from an anterior angle. And so the right side is going to be deoxygenated. And so we're going to make all of our things on that side blue. And the left side of the heart is going to be oxygenated, so we're going to make those things red. So first, labeling the chambers. This is the right atrium. The top ones are atria, one atrium, two atria. And then the bottom, this is the, right ventricle. And then this side is going to be the left atrium and the left ventricle. All right, so we're going to build this as we talk through the pathway. And so what we should remember is that the atria receive blood, and so the right atrium is going to receive blood from the body itself, and then so that's why it's deoxygenated. The blood has been out to the body, it has dropped off its oxygen, it has picked up carbon dioxide, and it's coming back to the heart. So it's received by the right atrium. Now, this drawing is going to be more of a concept drawing. I am not an artist, so I am going to draw with ease. So at this point, we're going to say there's a superior vena cava that you should know about. Now the inferior vena cava, if you are an artist and you want to draw it in, it actually comes up from here and comes in the backside over here. I am not an artist and I'm trying to simplify the concept. So I'm just going to say there's also another vessel that comes in here, and it's the inferior vena cava. So those are veins. Veins take blood to the heart. There's actually a third one that kind of dumps in with the superior vena cava, and it's called the coronary sinus. So it actually brings the blood back from the heart itself. Your heart is made of cardiac muscle, and muscle needs oxygen. So we're going to have coronary vessels. The coronary arteries take blood to the myocardium, that cardiac muscle, and then the coronary sinus brings that deoxygenated blood back to the heart. Okay, so now we have deoxygenated blood, and it needs to go through, I'm just going to put a little line here and here. There's basically a door. So we've made this a chamber, and to leave this chamber and go down to this chamber, it has to go through a door. So this door is called the tricuspid valve. Okay, it has three cusps, that's why it's the tricuspid valve, and that allows blood to come down into the right ventricle. So, top chambers receive blood, bottom chambers pump blood. So we've gotten deoxygenated blood from the body. Superior vena cava brings blood back from anywhere below the diaphragm, or above the diaphragm, sorry. Inferior vena cava brings anything back from below the diaphragm, and then coronary sinus brings blood back from the heart muscle itself. It goes through that tricuspid valve into the right ventricle. Now, when this right ventricle squeezes, this valve is going to slam shut, and there's actually another valve that's going to sit right here. And then when the ventricle squeezes, it's going to pump the blood up through an artery, because it goes away from the heart, and it's going to take that blood to the lungs to get rid of the carbon dioxide and pick up oxygen. Now, again, if you are a great artist, you can draw in a valve here and an artery here, because the pulmonary trunk is actually going to branch out here. So if you wanted to, you can put it right here and a trunk that goes up this way. If you are not much of a drawer and you just want to go with the concept, then you can draw it down over here. It's not really there, but this is called the pulmonary semilunar valve. Okay, and it's going to take blood through the pulmonary trunk, which branches into pulmonary arteries that go to one lung here and one lung, way over there, to the lungs. So, but remember, that valve is actually going to go here, and the trunk is going to come up here, pulmonary trunk. Okay, and send it to each of the lungs that way. Now, once the oxygen is picked up, it's gone to the lungs, it's dropped off carbon dioxide, and it's picked up oxygen, and so then it's going to take a vein back to the heart. So we are going to have pulmonary veins, because this blood is going to come from the lungs. And there's 2 pulmonary veins from each lung. And that oxygenated blood is going to be received by the left atrium, and it's now oxygenated, hopefully. And then on this side, we're going to have another valve that is going to open up, and this one is the bicuspid valve. And so then that's going to take the blood down to the left ventricle. A good way to remember this, if you're starting the pathway the way we're going through it, you can remember you want to try before you buy. So that's the order of those. All right, so now we have oxygenated blood. It goes down into the left ventricle, and the left ventricle is going to squeeze and push, because remember, atria receive, ventricles pump and give the blood. Okay, so again, if you're an artist, you can put in the valve up here, and the big artery that goes away from the heart is going to be the aorta, and that comes out right behind, just posterior to that pulmonary trunk that you've already drawn in. If you want to try and keep this a little less messy, then you can put it down here, but remember, not where it actually is. And so this is going to be the aortic semilunar valve that allows blood to go into the aorta, which is the biggest artery of the body, and that is going to go to the body. So the aorta is going to have a bunch of different branches that come off of it to take oxygenated blood all over the body. All right, if you wanted to add a couple other things, you could remember that there is an outer covering. There's different layers of the heart. So if the main part of the heart is the myocardium, that cardiac muscle, and outside of that we would have the epicardium, So that's going to wrap around the outside of the whole heart. And then lining these valves and these chambers, because remember the septum is going to actually be bigger, right? It would take up more space throughout all of here. So the lining of all of this would be the endocardium. That slippery lining inside. So endocardium, endo means within and card means heart. Myo means muscle and card means heart. So that's the muscle layer, that cardiac muscle. And then the epicardium, epi means upon. So hopefully this helps you remember your pathway, even though some parts are not accurate to where they would actually be located. It should help you with the concept. So I hope that helps.